talk to me a bit about the relationship between how to set better goals and this kind of toolkit that you're providing us with experimentation, with thinking boldly, with, having a kind of an experimental mindset when it comes to how we can get better at setting goals.
Yeah. So again, it's kind of helpful to compare the experimental approach to traditional goals. So traditional goals, you're probably familiar with SMART goals. This is the quintessential framework for traditional goals. And SMART goals, linear goals, the traditional approach to goals always starts with the outcome. You have a specific outcome that you want to achieve, and then you design a plan, and then you work hard to get there. That's essentially the idea. With an experiment, a more experimental approach to setting goals, you don't start with an outcome. You start with a hypothesis, almost like a research question. What might happen if we tried this? I have the intuition, I have the hypothesis that this might work, that this might be helpful, that this might be a more efficient, more creative, more productive way of doing things. But I'm not 100% sure. If you were sure, there's no point running the experiment. So that's what's interesting here, is that you start from a place where failure is an option. It might be the case that you're wrong, that hypothesis is incorrect. And you're going to run an experiment to collect data to see whether you're correct or not. If you're incorrect, that's okay. You learn something new. And so the objective here, again, is learning. And in terms of tools, the way I recommend designing those tiny experiments, so SMART goals, they have this definition that is a PACT, P-A-C-T, which stands for purposeful, actionable, continuous, and trackable. And a PACT is really a commitment to experimentation. It's a mini protocol, and it's inspired by the scientific method. So when scientists design an experiment, they have two ingredients, the two parts of the protocol. The first one is, what am I going to test? And the second one is, for how many trials? That's why you hear scientists say, we're running this experiment with 300 participants or for 6 months. Same with personal experimentation. When you design a PACT to say, I will perform this specific action. So I will write a weekly newsletter for 6 weeks. I will meal prep every Sunday for 2 months. I will go for a daily walk for 2 weeks. I will action for duration. And when you run the experiment, the most important part is to withhold judgment until you're done. Just like a scientist is not going to start poking at the data and deciding that they don't really like what they're seeing here and they're just going to stop the experiment. Once you've decided, this is my protocol, this is my PACT, this is a commitment, I'm collecting the data, and only when I'm done, I can look back and ask myself, okay, what worked? What didn't? What might I want to try next? What do I want to tweak? But only when you're done collecting the data. So this is the big difference between a traditional goal and a more experimental approach to goals, is that you're just trying to learn something new. That is success.